Hey y'all, Teanna Branae here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making my favorite pasta, which is garlic butter pasta. I like to use penne noodles when I make mine. You can use whatever noodles you want to use. Penne noodles are just my favorite. And then we need a little vegetable oil for our water, obviously, when we boil our noodles. So that's just what I'm showing y'all on that part. That pot that you see that's out of focus, that's what I'm going to be putting my noodles in. I got a new camera recently. I'm still learning to play with the settings, so bear with me. Everything is not going to be out of focus. It's just this one clip. So one thing I like to put into my pasta is turkey sausage. So I'm just going to cut up this smoked turkey sausage, and then I like to kind of pan sear mine or fry it up in a pan for a little while so that it has a little bit of a brown to it. I don't like to just drop it in like boiled water or anything like that. And I know I'm using the wrong knife. Y'all don't have to tell me. That's just the first knife I grabbed out of the drawer. But clearly that's not the knife I'm supposed to be using to cut up no meat. I'm going to go ahead and put that sausage in a different pan, not the same pot that the pasta is cooking in. So this is a different pot, and I've put a little bit of vegetable oil in this one as well. So I'm just going to brown my meat up a little bit. And I'm only using one sausage link. They do come two in a pack. If you want to put both sausages in, you can. I don't put both sausages in mine because I also like to put shrimp. So yeah, because I'm putting shrimp in mine too, I didn't put two sausage links. I'm just spreading out the sausage so each piece is touching the pan as opposed to them being stacked on top of each other. So that way they'll all cook kind of evenly. Alright, so this is just some frozen tail on shrimp. So I'm going to soak it in water a little bit just to kind of thaw it a little bit so that I can break those tails off. I do not like to cook shrimp that still has a tail on it. I feel like that's your shrimp isn't clean. I have to take the tail off. I usually just buy shrimp that doesn't have the tail on it and clean it that way. That way it saves me some time. But they didn't have any at the grocery store. Well, I didn't have my glasses on because I know my son broke my glasses, so I had to make do. I'm just showing y'all that penne noodle because I didn't have enough in that first box. I'm adding a little bit more. And now we're cutting up an onion. Once again, I know this is not the right knife, but who cares? This is the knife that I'm using today. So I'm just going to use the rest of that onion that I have out. I'm not going to save any of it, so because I have more onions in the fridge just when you get to go anyways, because it's just a little bit. We're going to drop that onion in the pan with the sausage that's been cooking, and if y'all can tell, my sausage is starting to get a little bit of a color to it. It looks good. Alright, let's add the ingredients. So we're going to add some garlic. You can use fresh garlic if you want to. I like to buy the garlic in the jar. It's just more convenient. So we're going to add some garlic. I do not measure. Let me say that again. I do not measure. Y'all have to gauge the measurements based on what I'm showing y'all. I do not measure. back to our shrimp. So it's thawed a little bit now, so I can pull it apart. Oh, I didn't use the whole bag of shrimp either. I only took about half of the shrimp out. Like I said, if I was only doing shrimp or only doing sausage, I would use all of the sausage or all of the shrimp. But because I was doing both, I did half and half. So here I'm just breaking the tails off and throwing the tails in a plastic bag. I never throw my shrimp tails directly into the trash can. Because when I was younger, when I would help my grandma cook gumbo, I would always accidentally throw shrimp in the trash can instead of the tails. So just moving too fast, you know. So now what I do is I just throw it in a plastic bag. That way, if it's a shrimp and not a tail, it's not in the trash can. So I'm just gonna break all that off. I don't think you guys see me do it, but I'll tell you this: after I break it off, I strain that water out of the bowl, rinse the shrimp, put new water in the bowl, make sure the shrimp is clean, strain it again, and I do that a couple of times. I think I cut that out, so you probably won't see me do that. Yeah, you won't see me do that. And then I'm gonna go ahead after I've strained it a few times and rinsed it and cleaned it and make sure there's nothing in that little one part. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my pan that has my sausages, garlic, and onion in it. I know y'all probably like, girl, your garlic is burnt. Look, that's okay. It's going to still taste good. Alright, let's add some crushed red pepper. I put quite a bit of crushed red pepper in my food. I like spicy food, but I like Cajun spicy. So I put quite a bit of crushed red pepper usually. But if I know Julian's going to eat it, I try to limit it. We're also going to put some seasoned salt, or you can use regular salt if you prefer regular salt. I'm a seasoned salt girl. But if you prefer regular salt, throw some regular salt in there instead. We got some black pepper. Don't worry about how much of what I'm putting in. I told you I do not measure. I know it when I smell it. That's how I cook. I know it when I smell it. I know it when I see it. I'm like, okay, that's enough. Okay, that's enough. But I don't measure. Sorry, unless I'm baking. If I'm baking, I measure. Creole seasoning, I'm using Tony's. If you have a different kind, like some people use like Slap Your Mama and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that'll work the same. I just happen to use Tony's. We got some parsley, because black people like to put parsley in everything. So let's throw it in there. Alright, we got some seafood seasoning. This is just to enhance the flavor of the shrimp. You don't have to put seafood seasoning. I like to add it whenever I cook something that has seafood in it. I like to add that crab seafood seasoning. But if you don't want to add it, it's not required. Like, I've been making this long before I had seafood seasoning, and it still tastes good. I just like to add it. Then we got some oregano, because I feel like whenever you're making pasta, you need oregano. Not really, because I didn't even put that much, but in my mind it makes sense. And it tastes good, so whatever. Stir it up. Once again, I'm just trying to make sure everything is touching the bottom of the pan, or at least trying to make sure everything bumps the bottom of the pan. I'm trying to flip my shrimp at the same time so the other sides will cook. And I'm doing all of this while the noodles are still cooking in the other pot. So I gotta check my noodles. As you can see, I told you I added more noodles because that first box, clearly it wasn't enough in there. So I added a little bit from that second box as well. And I know some people would prefer to add their shrimp last. because you don't want your shrimp to overcook, but I like my shrimp a little firm. If you want your shrimp like soft, don't add it in this early. I would add it after you add your noodles and you letting it cook for the last 5-10 minutes to make sure everything gets like the flavors are mixed together. You can also add your shrimp then. I just like to add mine now. I'm also going to throw some butter in there. I'm going to use like half of a stick of butter. That much I know. It's about half of a stick of butter. Let it melt down just a little bit. And then once it does that, then you can go in and start stirring it up and mixing it all together. But just let it sit just for a quick second so it can soften, because it's fresh out of the fridge. Like, it's not, I don't sit my butter out or anything, so I just like to let it sit for a little bit before I start stirring it. Because then I notice if you stir it too soon, it starts to get all over my spoon as opposed to into the food like I want it. So I don't play with it too much. I stir it, let it sit, stir it, let it sit. Alright, then we got some garlic sauce. You can use whatever kind of garlic sauce you like. We just always happen to have this garlic sauce because it's like a grocery staple that we buy, because my fiance loves garlic sauce on pretty much all of his food. So the Steve's is the one that we have currently. Throw you some garlic sauce in there. When we didn't have garlic sauce, I also made this with just garlic paste. So that works the same way if you would prefer to use that. But yeah, just get you some type of, add more garlic if you don't want to use the garlic sauce. I like to use the garlic sauce as opposed to just garlic. You can make your own if you want, whatever. This is just the one that we happen to always have in our refrigerator, so that's the one that I'm using. Add more garlic. This I do always do. After everything is starting to cook, I like to add more garlic at the end. So while it doesn't hit the bottom of the pan like it did in the beginning, I still like that extra flavor that extra garlic adds to the dish. Then we're going to put some chicken broth. If you don't have chicken broth, you can use a bouillon cube and water like normal or whatever. I, once again, buy chicken broth every time I grocery shop because I make this pasta a lot. I don't know how much I put, maybe about a cup, maybe. Just throw it in there, stir it up. I like to put mine on my spoon. That way if there's any garlic sitting on my spoon, any butter sitting on my spoon, that chicken broth is going to release it and it's going to hit the pan. Then I'm going to add just a little bit of water. You don't want to add too much broth because it sometimes can be a little salty. So if you want more of a liquid, like I wanted mine to be a little more liquidy, I'm going to go ahead and add more water to it. And then that way when I go back in it, if I decide to add more broth after, just after I add the noodles, if I feel like the noodles absorb too much of it, because I added water as well, it'll decrease that salt level a little bit. Then just keep stirring. And my noodles are ready. I've strained them already off camera. I'm going to go ahead and pop them in the pan with my meat and sauce, I guess you can call it. You can also put a little lemon juice in there if you want. I didn't have any lemon, but if you wanted to add a little bit of lemon, you could also do that. Then I'm just going to stir it up and make sure my meats are all mixed in with my noodles, and my noodles are mixed in with my sauce, and everything gets blended together nicely. I don't have to put that much, I don't have to put really seasoning because I've already been seasoning it while I've been waiting for my noodles to cook. I'm also going to add some baby spinach just for a little bit of greenery. So it's a one pot meal. You got your meat, you got your starch, you got your vegetable all in one pot. I had some rolls too that I threw in the oven, but y'all didn't need to see that because I didn't make those fresh. I just grabbed some out the freezer section at the grocery store. So I threw in about a handful of spinach. I like to let mine sit for a little bit before I stir it and then stir it in, and that's how it looks. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. I am not a cheese person. If you know me, you know that. So I'm going to only add a little bit. But you can add way more than that if you want. If you want to add shredded cheese, you can add shredded cheese, whatever the case may be. This is just what we had in the refrigerator because we happen to, once again, always have Parmesan cheese. So I'm just adding a small amount because I'm not that much of a cheese. I don't really eat cheese. I just like the taste of Parmesan when it's like lightly sprinkled. And in the end, that is what you get. That's how I make my pasta. It's my favorite pasta to make. I make it all the time. My sisters laugh at me every time they talk to me and I say I'm making pasta because they assume that's the pasta I'm making. I'm just adding a little bit more broth to liquefy it a little bit more. That way when I have leftovers, the noodles won't completely dry out in the refrigerator. But yeah, that is how I make it. If you guys decide to make this pasta, let me know in the comment section below how you guys thought it came out. If you tweaked the recipe, if you added more stuff to the recipe, whatever the case may be. If you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, let me know down below as well. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video if anybody's interested in this recipe. Thank you guys for coming back to my channel, and I'll talk to you guys next time.